when I was 18, I almost bought my first property. But the people around me, all they said was, "Do you want to buy a house?" You know, there was no encouragement. There was just no encouragement whatsoever. That's why the people you hang around matters a lot.
Exactly.
For me, this is my own opinion. I believe in home ownership because I don't believe that I should be in an environment where I'm just renting for 10, 15, 20 years.
We lived in the property maybe like 7 or 8 years.
You were tenants?
Yeah, tenant.
You're paying rent?
Yeah, paying rent. And the rent is gone. And I look at myself and said, look, the property that I told you about right now is almost like £800,000 now. Adding the equity.
Let's pause there because I want people to really listen to this. For those who are thinking buying your first home is a liability, you bought a house in 2014.
Yeah.
In 2025,
yeah,
the house is worth £800,000.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a liability? Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Into Property. I'm your host, Moses Bright. I help people to find and buy properties across the whole country where we manage the entire process from start until completion. Whether you're looking for your first home or investment property, that's what we do, and with ease. Now, we like to talk about stories. We like talking about people who are in property or people who are getting involved in property. But in the studio today, I have a good friend of mine. I have a guest. I'm going to introduce him to you guys right now. I mean, has a powerful story to share and also to encourage you, because there might be some of you right now who are thinking of getting involved in property, but sometimes the money could be the issue, you know, the resources, you don't even know how to start. But this guest right now will definitely blow your mind. And in the studio with me today is Sunday, my good friend. How are you, sir?
I'm good, mate. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm awesome.
How's it been?
Fantastic. And first of all, thank you for coming all the way from Manchester.
Yeah, we have to do what we have to do.
My goodness, man. Thank you so much. So, Sunday, why don't you introduce yourself?
Okay. So for the benefit of people that is going to be looking at me, so my name is Sunday Aderibigbe. So I operate a real estate company in Manchester, where we help a lot of people to get into their property ladder. So we help for investment. We build houses. We help people to manage their property in Manchester, and at the same time, we go globally to talk to people about how they can make wealth. So we have office in Lagos. I'm originally from Nigeria anyway. So, and then we have office in Houston, Texas as well. So what we do basically is purely real estate.
Wow. So you are Mr. Property International.
International.
That's fine. So let's go back a little bit, Sunday, so people can really get to know more about you. How long have you been now in real estate?
Oh yeah. So I think this is going to be going to 10 years now. In the real estate, 10 years now.
Okay.
So before now, I used to be ex-banker. So I work with investment bank here in London. I work with Life of Bank of America. I work with HSBC Investment, Barclays Wealth, ING Investment Bank. So purely, I used to be an investment banker, and then I used to be a contractor. Nice. So then we get good money then those days too.
Yes. So why you were doing that was what actually stirred you into the world of real estate? Because there are people who could be watching right now or listen to this podcast later on who might be in that position right now. They have access to money like you did. So what got you involved in property?
Yeah, so what got me involved in property is I got to a stage where I was doing my contracting. I've got houses, I've got everything that needs to be got myself. So I thought I'm now ready to make an impact. So how will I make this impact? When I was getting the money, the contracting money, instead of me using the money to go on holiday I was using my money to buy properties. So I now find out that it got to a stage people don't even know how they can get one. So what can I do to make an impact, to change people's destiny, to change people's narration? And I thought, okay, what I have is this property. And I start taking my friends to how they can enter into property, how they can save the money, how they can source for the property, and how they can go through the mortgage conveyance process. And before I know it, I've helped like 5 people. 6 people, and people start calling me. And I thought, this is the impact I'm waiting for. So whenever anybody is collecting key, I'll always be as happy as anything. And I woke up one day and I said, I'm following this passion. And 10 years going now, we have never been the same.
Wow. That it's so interesting because we have like similar background. I mean, I didn't work with investment banking, but my last job in 2015, that was the last time I worked for someone. I was a banker, but I was a personal banker, and I was actually thinking about becoming one of those select. That was my passion to, that was no, I wouldn't say my passion, but it was like my aspiration to become a select relationship manager, whereby you work with high net worth individuals, people who are probably worth millions, or they want to, you want to look after you want to help them look after their money. But while I was doing that, I was in an environment full of like Jewish customers, and that really stirred something in me, because every time I spoke to a Jewish person, when they came in, they were like, yeah, I've got this property here. I started buying property in the 90s, and I thought, how many have you got? And then some of them will smile. And I remember one Jewish man said to me, wherever you do, get your first one and then build on from there.
Exactly.
And then don't stop investing.
Exactly.
And no matter what other investment you have or other businesses you have, make sure you get into real estate. And that really touched me. So when I started real estate, I then noticed, to be fair, back then, I felt like there wasn't a lot of us in the space.
Exactly, yeah. That was what happened.
And you can there's just
exactly.
not a lot of in the space.
Exactly.
And I wanted, just like you talked about impact, I also wanted to have impact. And back then, not all my friends had properties. So what were we doing?
Yeah, I think our mindset then. So our mindset then, especially, I told you my background is from Nigeria. So our mindset then was, we just come here to go and build houses in places that we're not going to live.
Houses back home?
Back home in Nigeria. A lot of people then, they are sleeping in one room here in London, and you see them building mansions in Lagos, in Lekki, in Enugu, Stove, and you see them suffering here. And you know what? Maybe 2-3 years, they won't go to the place. So I think that was the mindset. So, but the narration has started changing now, that people now understand that everywhere they are living now is their home. And it really helps now. That is where the education is now moving all around for people to understand that they have to get into property.
You mentioned mindset, and I think that is a very big thing. Because when my mindset shifted years ago, it really changed my life, changed my family's life. And that's one thing that that has also gotten me to where I am right now. Because I'll tell you a quick story. When I was 18, I almost bought my first property. This is a long time ago. But the people around me, all they said was, "Do you want to buy a house?" There was no encouragement. There was just no encouragement whatsoever. It was just like, and that's why the people you hang around matters a lot.
Exactly.
The people you hang around
and
in your life.
it's almost impossible for them then, because people would think, you have to have a good credit.
Correct.
And majority of the people there too, because of their mindset, so they will just go to the bank and get a loan. And they will think the bank is, they are crazy. That the bank just get crazy and they gave me the money and they transfer the money to Africa to go and build houses.
Yeah.
So they messed up their credit. They did a lot of things those days. Why do they don't know that this is their home? And that is why I said mindset.
Yeah. And I think even with mindset, I started reading books, and like I said, I almost bought a house and it didn't happen, and I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad it didn't go through, because long story short, I think the guy that I was dealing with, it was a fraudulent transaction. So unfortunately, a friend of mine who bought got repossessed, and there was just a long so that back then really struck me, like, when I have the opportunity to help, I will definitely help. And fast forward, I've been, like, it's just like you, I've been doing this now for 10 years, helping people become homeowners, but also invest and wanting to go bigger.
Exactly.
Like yourself. But there's still challenges. We're still facing challenges with, especially people in our community.
Exactly.
Because I've been to places where I've seen like some parties and weddings and things like that, and I've seen the cars that have just been parked. I've seen the cars and things like that. And when I have conversation, like, wow, so what do you do? And you ask them what, but then you realize they are living this life, but they don't have a home. But they have this. So I'm wondering, hold on a second. I don't have anything against, I love cars. Hey, I love cars. And I love to have a good time as well. But I believe that your assets should always come before your liabilities.
Exactly.
You shouldn't put liabilities first.
Before assets, yeah.
But do you think that our community, do you think that there's a struggle with wanting to please people, wanting to like put on the show? So you want to like kind of like live rich, but you're not really wealthy.
Yeah, I think what I can say from that aspect is what I call misplaced priority. So in our community, people like to feel show worthy why they are poor. So that is why you see they pay emphasis on designers, on looking worthy. If you look at the people that are billionaires today, if you can look at them, they are very simple. You see them on T-shirts, you see them, but in our own community, our own mindset to show that we are worthy is how we look. And because of that, they place more emphasis on the look instead of their wallet or their assets. But we didn't blame us because that is our lifestyle.
Okay. So coming back to yourself now. So you then, so when you were, let's talk about that first property that you bought. What was the process like? Because I think this will really help the listeners. How did you get from, when you're working, you don't have a property then?
Yep.
You didn't have your first home.
Yeah.
What was the process to getting that first property?
I think let's move a step ahead, a step behind.
Yeah.
What got me into property to buy the property? I think then I was following the bandwagon. So what is the bandwagon? I gave someone money in Africa to help me to build a house. And I got to the place and I found out that the place was just an empty land. And they were showing me upstairs. so when I was,
hold on, let me start with that. So so our listeners are clear. So you gave someone money?
Yeah, I'll be sending money back to them in Africa.
Yeah.
To help me to build houses, and they will be coming back to show me pictures.
So you were seeing pictures?
Yeah, pictures, and that
of
pictures.
A house.
Yeah, this is the decking.
Yeah.
So they'll be telling me this is the decking, this is the upstairs, this is the stage we are.
Yeah.
And when I decided one day to go to Africa to go and see.
So what did you see?
A beer land. Beer land. So I got angry. So my dad, blessed mom, just told me, I said, when I came to meet you in Glasgow, remember I told you, wherever you find yourself is home. Wherever you find yourself is home. So you might not come to live in this country again. So go back to that place and start your home. And that was where the liberation started from. Then I started saving the money. So when I saved the money, and one of the things about me, I like to think big. So people tell me, I say it's because my vision is big. So I start going to the estate where big men are living in Manchester. Start looking, I want to get this kind of property. I want to get, what are they doing? How much do they need to get? And I saved up. And I get my first 10% as of then. And I look for a mortgage advisor. And then unfortunately, I was working as a banker. So I gave them all my pay slip and everything. And they came back to me and said, it's approved.
Wow.
So like play, it's approved. They said, I thought it was, once it approved, they said, no, we still have to go through conveyance. So I think 6 weeks later, so is this 6 weeks or 12 weeks? The conveyance finishes and they hand me over key for the first time in the United Kingdom.
But your first house?
Bought my house. And it's
what year
a
was
mini
this?
mansion. We are talking of 2014 or 2014, December 2014.
But your first house?
Yeah.
From working, rather than spending the money,
yeah,
you just had to save?
Yeah. I remember 20 December 2014. So that was when I got the first house.
So I'm sure that really, because I'm going deeper in this because you and I in the industry, and when I do come across people, one thing they sometimes struggle with is credit.
Yep.
bad credit.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a big thing in our community.
Big issue, yeah.
And you and I have done this stuff for a decade now.
Yeah, exactly.
So you know, because I've come across people who, man, they got money. And you know some about people.
Know.
They've got money. Do you know what I'm saying? But you always wonder, how is it that some people from our community are in such a state where they've got such bad credit? Do you think it's lack of education, that there's no exposure, or they just, because sometimes I'll give you an example. Someone comes to this country and they get parking tickets and they just think, and their friends say, I've got loads of those. Forget about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Leave the parking ticket alone. Then they move house. Then that ticket, because they've missed the repayment, they've given the grace period. Then it goes to a creditor. Then they ask them to pay the money, but they've moved house. Then they get another parking ticket, or they come in, they have a disagreement with an energy company or a phone company. I remember I met this guy. It was £20. Sunday, £20 dispute he owed, and he was trying to get a mortgage and he couldn't get a £20. So what do you think? Because there are loads of information out there, loads. How did you manage to maintain your credit?
Yeah, so what I did, in fact, when I started mine, I didn't even know what is called credit. I told you. So, but because of the nature of job that I do then, you have to have a history of where you're living. So we have to go to make sure you put your name to electoral register.
Voters roll, yeah.
Voters roll, electoral register. So I have to make sure I put my name there. Then I was given a credit card. So that credit card that was given to me, because I'm a contractor those days, when I use the credit card, they will reimburse me back. You understand? So I'll be able to get a statement and give it to my boss and say, okay, I work in London office today. I work in a Leicester office, and this is the receipt of the payment on my. So I will now pay the money back unconsciously for me. I don't know that I'm building my credit.
Yes.
So by the time I went to Experian and I found out that my credit is now there plus, I say, really? And that was so for people that wants to build their credit, it has to be conscious. And then because we are coming from a background where we don't believe in credit, especially people that come from Africa like me. So this place is a credit-based economy.
Correct.
So if you want to make it in this country, you are, in fact, generally in Western world, you have to understand how they use credit. For me, I know how to use it. So you have to understand how to use, and how do you start is by you building it through what I've just said right now. If you don't have a credit card right now, go and apply for one. Go to Capital One, go to Vanquish. They will give you, and then you will start from there.
Subject to your personal circumstances.
Subject to your circumstance. So I'm just talking about minimum.
Yeah.
So they will give you, and then you can now start building it. And if you are living in a place, if your name is not an electoral register, you have to go and quickly put your name there, and make sure when any bill you are paying, you should not pay late
or miss a payment.
No, miss payment. You should not. You should not. These are what the bankers what they use to measure our credit, and it is consistency. It's not what you do today and you forget about it. You have to do it consistently. It has to be part of you. And that is why they will tell you, if you get a mortgage, they will give, if you don't pay for a certain period of month, they will say your house may be repossessed. So that is the same logic as well. So if you use your credit right now and you mess it up, the opportunity might be taken away from you. You can even go to shop to say, I want to get is it EE?
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned that. I actually worked at one point in an EE shop years ago. And I'll never forget this story. I'm glad you brought it up, because this guy showed it to me. I think it was the first time I saw hundreds of thousands of pounds on someone's, not bank statement, his phone banking app. I was working at EE. This guy came in, and he looked a bit upset because where I worked in Oxford, I think around Oxford Street, Tottenham Court Road back then, you've got the EE shop here, you've got the Coffee Warehouse across. So I could see him leave the shop. He looked a bit proud. Walked in the shop, came in, and I said, "Hey, hello, sir, how are you today? How can I help?" He goes, "Yeah, say I want to get a SIM card, SIM on a deal, but this guy's here, can't even give me a similar deal, telling me I can apply for one. So I said, okay. I said, well, is there a problem? He said, listen, I've got money, mate. I said, okay, I understand you got money. He goes, listen, I can buy all the phones in the shop. So I just thought, okay, okay, I've just met you. Okay. I said, okay, calm down. What is the issue? I can see you're upset. He said, listen, for what I do, I've got loads of money. All I want to do is get a similar deal, and I've got money. And I said, I'm not doubting you don't have money, but I need to put you in the system. So I tried to I sat him down. Then I tried to go through the application. Similar deal. I think it's about £20 or something he wanted. This is when 4G was released.
Okay.
So he wanted to get a 4G SIM card as a similar deal, and it got declined. And he's like huffing and puffing. He goes, can I show you something, mate? I said, yeah, because we got to talk. He goes, just to show you I've got money. For you, I'll show it to you. Come. Then he opened one of his banking app. I just saw, I think it was about 600,000 or 700,000 pounds in there. And I just thought, whoa, I was like, okay, that's quite a lot of money. So I said to him, I said, but you do know that even if you've got £1 million or you're multi-millionaire, which you probably are, I don't know you from anywhere, but you do know that if you've got bad credit, a lot of creditors will not lend to you, because it just shows that you're not responsible. I'm not saying you're not a responsible person, but it just shows that you're not responsible financially. So I think the best thing for you to do is to build this credit again. It looked like you had good credit before. So that was when he calmed down and said, I just saw the house and everything. So I'm like, okay, you saw the house. So that money that was from a house that he sold.
Exactly.
So he got loads. I don't know if it's an inheritance. So he got loads of money. But I said, well, you need to go build a credit. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because that is something that I have come across so many times where we're trying to help people to get on the property ladder. This is just to get their home, because for me, this is my own opinion. I believe in home ownership. That's just my opinion, because I don't believe that I should be in an environment where I'm just renting for 10, 15, 20 years. And I'll tell you why. When I got married in 2012, I'd moved out my mum's house in 2005. So up to like 2014, I was renting. And then one day my wife said to me, listen, let's buy a home. This was before then I was dabbling in property. So she saw how I was dabbling in property. She goes, listen, why don't we just buy our first home? We're quite young. And I said, yeah, I've been thinking about it. So I did a calculation of how much I'd spent. Now, personally, because I've been renting room, between 2005 to 2014, I'd spent £77,000. Now, Sunday, back then, I did not have £77,000 in my bank account. That stirred something in me. And I remember when the Jewish client, one of the Jewish guy, I can't remember his name, I think it's Abraham, I can't remember his name, and he just encouraged me, he said, listen, as a married man, he said, get your first home. And from your first home, do you know that you can release equity?
Exactly.
And you can take out that equity, you can go buy, and he said to me, you can go buy an investment property with that. And then after a while, that would increase in value, and you can pull out some equity from there. And then one of my mortgage broker said something to me in 2016, 17, and I'll never forget it. And what he said to me was how I bought my second house just recently. He said to me, Moses, since you're not in property, you want to get your first one, fantastic. He said, I'm going to share something with you. Your first house is your deposit
for your second house.
And I said, break it down. Because when you have a power team, I love power team because they get to share things with you. He said to me, you're working hard in property now. You want to get your home. Okay, fine. Because he was getting my first house. And he said to me, don't worry about what people think. Don't worry about what people say. Just get your first house. I know you want to invest. Get a first house. Then get a house that is so below your means that you can afford it with your eyes closed. With your eyes closed. So I said, maybe why don't I get a house that is less than my kid's nursery? He goes, yes. And he said to me, then after a while, use that house. You either keep the house, or over time, that house would have grown because you didn't buy the biggest house, but you bought a house. You like to do it up, add value, and then years later, move into that home. This same guy, same person. And I'm talking about Sam Woodley. Sam, if you're watching this, I want to say thank you for that amazing advice. Sam Woodley, shout out to you, an amazing guy, amazing good friend as well. And he said, yes, use that money, use that first house. I bought my second house. I live in a nice, highly desired area right now. And I did not put down £1. because why? Information. And this is what we're trying to share with people, that sometimes you need the information, but sometimes if it means you pay for the information, pay for the information.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because you've gone into now, you've got the first home now and you've built. So how did you expand from there?
Okay, so after then, so what I did was when I bought the first one that I was living in, so I thought I can buy the second one. So as a contractor myself, I used to get good money anyway. So I have to tell my friends that they normally save the money for them to buy a baby car. So I just tell them, borrow me this money. So which we should call other people's money. So I collected the money, add it to the savings I have, and I bought the second house. Then luckily for us, now if you want to buy an investment property right now, they ask for 25%
deposit. Yes.
Then it was 20%. So and I bought the second house. So and it was a flat. So
was this an investment?
Yeah, for the investment, it was a flat. I think the place is in Mont Road in Manchester, in Gotin. I bought the flat there. And, so when I bought the flat, I was like, what? So it's got into 2 now. Okay, let's see. So when I paid my friends finishes, and I started collecting rent. So when I'm now looking at how much I was giving the banker every month and how much is coming to my account, I was like, So this is another hidden strategy of getting more money. And I continue in the same model to borrow money again. The little money so now it becomes a gain for me.
Monopoly.
A game. So if I tell you to give me, let's say, give me 5K, I can tell you borrow me 5K or 10K. I'm going to give you a so date. So once I do the contract finished, I was paid daily rate anyway. So, and I'll just pay you the money. So I was doing that for some time, and that was what made me to expand the portfolio. So, and when I expanded the portfolio, I just thought, so my friends that are now close to me, that was borrowing me money, now start hearing the news. That, this guy's got this got this. So they now got close to me and start asking me, how am I doing it? And that was when the journey started from. So initially I was doing it for free. I just call Moses, do it this way. And at the end, when I finished, I would see some people bring flour to say thank you, and I saw that joy. And then I was not even fulfilled. I was looking for purpose. And I started saying, this is the purpose you are looking for. I remember a guy, he gave me £5,000. After I bought the, he said he never imagined it in his life to get a property.
Wow.
And when I was just thinking, what are you doing? Before you need to do. So I was like, this is the purpose you are looking for.
Yeah.
Make people worthy. Help them to manage and multiply their wealth through investing in property. And that is where we are today.
I don't want to sound controversial now. Yeah, because I've seen this online quite a lot of time. You've probably seen what we're going to talk about now. You've seen it quite a lot online as well, because you talk about purpose and you talked about how someone said to you they never envisioned. You and I get this a lot in our business, where we've helped people who never thought. I remember helping a lady who she'd been in the country for 20 years, renting in London for 20 years. That's a long time. And when she met me, she just said, listen, I've got this pocket of money. And I said, this is my business, what I do, how can it help you? And she paid for the service. I've seen this, not guys, but I've seen women cry. And recently I told a client, I said, please, not you. And I was at home, we completed. And I said, why are these women trying to, I said, listen, I can count how many times I've cried, because maybe we don't really cry that much, but I said, listen, but why is it that you guys know how to, it's the joy. So where I'm going with this is you've probably seen it, whereby some people believe that having a home is a liability, and you shouldn't, go invest first, and then after the investment, then you have your home. What would you say about that? And why did you choose not to have an investment property first?
Okay.
Why did you choose to get your home first and not an investment property? Because you bought your home and then you started building your investment portfolio
Okay.
and you scaled it.
Okay,
So
exactly.
why didn't you see that buying a home first was a liability?
Yeah, okay. So the reason why is because the home that we are living there tenant. So I remember we lived in the property before we moved, maybe like 7 or 8 years.
You were tenants.
Yeah, tenant.
You're paying rent.
Yeah, paying rent. And the rent is gone. So the rent is gone. And I look at myself and said, look, the property that I told you about right now is almost like £800,000 now. Adding the equity, how much you are paying off on it.
Let's pause there because I want people to really listen to this. For those who are thinking buying your first home is a liability, you bought the house because property appreciate over time,
Yep.
sometimes every 10 years.
Yeah.
You bought a house in 2014.
Yeah.
In 2025,
Yeah.
the house is worth £800,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think that's a liability?
Well, so if you look at it, so look at now go back and look at in 2015, in 2010 when I was living in a place before I moved out as a tenant, and all the money expended there is gone. So I've given it to the landlord. The property itself has appreciated. The landlord have enjoyed the money, and now me I moved out of the place. So now look at it now going forward from that 2014 to present moment.
So imagine if you didn't buy that property.
So I still have to be paying rent anyway, and that means I'm paying somebody's mortgage.
So I do an exercise with my clients. Okay, this is the exercise that I do, and I'm gonna share it on here. So when I work with a client that's thinking of buying a property, and this is I call it my motivational exercise. I tell them, "What's your rent?" They tell me, and I ask them, "How long have you been paying this rent for?" And I said to them, "Don't include council tax, don't include any bills.
Okay.
I just need just the rent amount."
Okay.
And then when they tell me the rent amount, I multiply by 12 1 year. And for those in London, listen, man, if I think I don't even want to mention some figures I've heard.
Yeah.
I've heard figures of over £200,000. So I tell them, okay, so you've been renting for this month. I said to them, okay, think about when you started renting, and let's work back. So each year, work out how much you've paid per year. Do you know that some people never do that? They never work out how much they're paying rent. So when client then work it out, so I tell them, how many years have you rented for so far? Then they work it out. Then we times it by the year they've been renting. In Essex, I would say Essex, Kent, Essex, Kent, sometimes we get like 180, but those in London, London ones, we hardly get the 100,000s.
Okay.
We get it. I mean, when someone told me the figure, and I don't even want to say the figure right now on this podcast, but it was mind blowing. It was enough money to buy a property cash. And I say so just to show how much have gone through their hands. So I had to ask you that because you do some amazing things in property, and you are helping people become homeowners and investors.
Yep.
And we're in that same boat. And I see all these videos a lot of the time where, buying a house is a liability. Now, I just say each to their own, but I don't think is a liability. I never saw it as a liability because that house, just like you now, I've now moved into a neighborhood whereby the figure that you mentioned, that was in my neighborhood.
Exactly.
A guy recently did a house up and sold it for like 1.2 million in my neighborhood. Now, if I'd rented and never bought my first one, I would not be able to move.
Let me now blow you again for the people living, because we are a businessman.
Yes.
So apart from, as I've said, apart from me helping people, we develop.
Yes.
So when we go to the development finance bank, these are what we use as collateral.
Thank you.
As a security for people. The house I'm living, they say, okay, how much is the balance on it? How much remains? Okay, we have this. Okay, I think we can borrow you this more to go into development. So in either short time, medium time, long time, is just a good strategy.
What you said there is so correct, because I use bridge loans as well. So bridge loans, for people who are listening, is when you go to the reason why it's a bridge is because you want to buy property. The bridge lender is someone who's in the middle. They can give you the money, so you can now go buy. You can top it up and go buy the property short term. So you borrow it for like 12 months.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't do 6 months, 12 months, or 25 months, but it's more expensive.
Yep,
so I'm not going to go into much into that. But sometimes when you want to borrow that money, they check if you have collateral.
Yeah.
They check, okay, what property do you have?
Exactly.
And if they say there's enough equity in there, it gives them confidence.
Exactly.
That if I borrow you this money, if you don't pay me back, I'll put a charge. I'll put a second charge on that house.
Exactly.
So literally, I'm giving you 100 grand. Your house is worth 500 or 800,000 pounds. Well, I'm gonna put a second charge of like probably
you can't do
that
anything
money
until you pay me.
So you can't. If you sell that house, you pay the lender, you got to pay me too.
Exactly.
But if I don't have nothing, how? So this is why I wanted to talk about this, because sometimes people just think buying a house is a liability. And you get gurus, you get people who are wealthy, talk about this, it gives you flexibility. I can just move. I can leave. But when you have a family, it's different.
Exactly.
When you have a family,
exactly,
it's different.
And one thing that I even tell people about it is that you have the strength to work 100 hours, to do 2 jobs, 3 jobs. But as time goes on, the strength is no longer there.
Yeah.
Again, it is where you put that your money that will be making money for you every month. So for the last 10 years now, I've not been on anybody's payroll. So is a property giving us, the business you are doing, is it giving us money every day? No. But money is coming from somewhere.
Yeah.
Because it's that money that will play somewhere in property that we are getting from. So the fear of retirement is not my fear. So these are the things that people have to know how to make wealth. And that was where we started from, by saying they have to build their credit so that all these things can flow to get to whatever they want to get to and stop cat race. Is it cat race you call it?
Rat race. Rat race.
Rat race.
Rat race, yes.
Rat race. Every 6 o'clock Central Line to Jubilee Line, just to catch up 9 o'clock sit up. So that is, so people have to get it right and make life easier for themselves.
So for people in that space, professionals who are thinking, because there are quite a few professionals who they are thinking, I want to get involved in property. Some of them they earn good money. They earn good money. What would you say to those who are just on the fence, because there are people who just focus on the thinking part of things. They've got the money, but just to take the step, they're always scared. What would you say to someone like that who's watching this right now, or listen to this, or who will come across this? What would you recommend to that kind of person?
So what I'll just tell them is that is one thing that we should say: 1 million intention is not better than 1 action. So I want to is not the result. Get into it. I used to tell people, a lot of people will be looking at Bank of England rate, interest rate. So don't worry about that. Look at what you are going to get at the long run. This game is a long run game. If you are looking at the short run, you cannot make it. You can't get there. You just keep looking at the information, and the information will be changing, becoming more difficult. You can think it's difficult right now. In the next 5 years, it's not going to be easier. It's still going to be more difficult. If you remember me and you, if you want to do mortgage for people before, how easy it is compared to now. Go and bring P60, go and bring this. Who give you this £100? They will come back before they give you. Unlike those days that nothing look. So you need to take action. 1 million intention is not better than 1 action. So once you take it, you come back and say, thank you, Mr. Sunday. I took the action and on the journey to the wealth creation. Yeah.
Now, Sunday, property investment is also not as easy as we make it sound. You've probably lost money.
Of course.
I love it. Because with what we do sometimes, I think we can sometimes make it look a bit easier to our clients. So can you share a struggle that you've experienced, so people can see that, okay, Son is looking all nice now, he's telling you, go get involved in it, but can you share some struggles that you've faced as a property investor and developer?
Okay, so I think one of the first shoot that I'm going to talk about is when I enter into auction. So I did not read the option terms and conditions that you have to pay within 28 days. So I quickly saw this land, and the land was nice, and I quickly gathered everything. So unfortunately for me, the money that I was looking for fought short. So I think the land, maybe like 300? So, and I think
300,000
200,000
pounds.
So, and I think I got maybe like 170? Yeah, 170. After 28 days, they sent a letter to me to say that the contract is going to be terminated.
But you paid a deposit.
I've paid the deposit of 10% of 30K.
Yeah.
So, and what the implication will mean that your 30,000 has gone.
It's not refundable.
It's not refundable. So I was even thinking it's normal threatening letter that they usually send to us. So after the 30 days, they use the word, is it reside? That was the first time I will hear that word in my life. Reside. RESCIND. I was like, so when I got home on that day again, I just said the letter. They just said your 30K is gone. I called my lawyer, who is the conveyance guy.
Yeah.
To say, the guy said if I take it to high court, that is the auction for me. 30K. I sat for myself. I sat on the floor. What is happening? So what will I do? So on that fateful day, I just naked. I don't know. I only wore just shorts. I went to their office. So when I got to the office, I was knocking the door. Who is that? That guy knocking the door. So they opened the door. I just lie down there.
Sorry, hold on.
I just lie down. Edward Miller office in Stockport, auction office. I lie down there. I was crying. I'm having that attack. The next thing now, I'm going to have hypertension. So they start looking for water. What is the problem? That 30K. What is 30K?
Oh my gosh.
So what is 30K? And now I have to. Yeah. And I have to start explaining myself. This is the first time. Auction.
I'm getting hot.
So anyway, to summarize everything, they have to call the owner and say, the guy that you collect is 30K. He's going to die. He's going to die if you don't find something.
Wow.
So the guy now says, okay, I'm going out of 30K, I'm going to take 10K. I'm going to still give you extension of another 60 days. But I'm still going to collect 10,000. So it's even better. So I quickly start looking for money to get the deal sorted. So those are part of the old stuff that we've created. In fact, even there are sometimes I remember too there's a deal I want to do. I was sleeping in my room before police came. They call it proceed of crime, and they took me to court for they said until when I prove where the source of the money came from.
This actually happened to you?
Yeah. So they freeze my account. I was going to court. So if you have put money in my account, all of them, they knock everybody's door to find out where the source of the money. I was there for a year before they discharged me and acquitted. So these are the things that we've passed through behind the door. There is a lot of them, but you just have to keep going. Resilience. If you want to get there, you must not remain the same. You have to keep going.
Wow. I mean, what you're saying is so powerful. And this is why I say, if you do property and you don't have the right education, you don't have the right mindset, you don't have the right people guiding you. There are people who, I mean, for me and you, we hold people's hands. And sometimes people think when they pay for the service, they think, oh, I'm just paying you 5K, 10K, I'm paying all this money. But some of the things that we've gone through, like you just said right there, I've had a time in my own life whereby, because of, you're trying to complete a property deal, I'm waking up in the night time and I'm telling my wife to please pray with me because you're just thinking, what if doesn't, what I'm saying? There's a lot. And thank you so much for being vulnerable and just sharing your story
journey.
and and your journey as well, because and I hope it's encouraged somebody, because we've laughed about it, because there's
It's just
there are some crazy things that happen, and just that mistake you made about buying a property. This is why that was one of the reasons why I decided to start my company, Announce Property, to be a bespoke property consultation company, to really hold people's hands, to guide them along the way, because I know the cost, there are some costly mistakes.
Exactly.
I'm sorry to say, but I don't think Google can teach you everything when it comes to
It can't. So
Google cannot teach you everything when it comes to property investment.
To give you the example, the money that entered into my account, what happened? The one that make a National Crime Agency to come and deposit, I sold the property because I want to do a business. So the property was, the property was sold on a business name, and I thought, okay, I want to make good money. I transferred the old money to my personal account. So Google will not tell you. So immediately the bank see, this one, they quickly approach and they
fraud.
Fraud. They know opposite of crime.
Anti-money laundering.
I was sleeping. They came to knock my door during COVID. They took me, and before I know it, and the way police think, they prove you wrong. You have to now prove yourself. As I was telling them, I was just thinking, it's not adding up. Before I know it, I find myself in the court. They started joining the court. The police will be telling them, it's a smoke. They are following the smoke, and it got to a stage, the smoke disappeared. This is the house that we sold. This is where the money come. It doesn't until when they are satisfied. So people, if you want to go on this journey, you have to get a mentor, people that can train you, that are born there, so that you can get the journey, you can get there very fast. Or else, the mistake that we did, we don't want you to do the same mistake, so that you can get there very fast where we are. So
Sunday, I think I need to get you back for part 2, because there's more questions that I have. Because that story that you've just shared about the costly mistake that you made, for some people that could have led to more than just lying on the floor. That could have actually even caused someone serious panic attack or heart attack.
That is what I was telling them that day. You guys are laughing. I went there with shorts, no t-shirt, everything.
Wow.
No, I just got there with my car, I was lying on the floor. What is happening? So they said, in an office, they start pouring water on me. They start pouring water. What is? I'm having an attack. The next thing is I'm gonna. So gosh. By the time they are taking the picture, sending this guy don't come and kill someone. So it's funny, but I in fact I said I'm very fortunate, because if not, if they take away the 30K, then there's nothing I'm gonna do. Nothing. I'm gonna do. So, but if somebody has hold my hand, and tell me, if you want to buy something in auction, if you don't even have money, there is bridging finance.
Yes.
That can help you to bridge the money together to go and buy what you want to buy.
The right way, and knowing how to do it. How to do it, yeah.
So that will save me the attack.
Wow.
You understand? I won't find myself in that kind of mess. So there is a lot of mistakes that we have made that is getting us, but we just have to keep going.
Sunday, thank you so much, man. And for those who are watching, I hope you've been encouraged by this amazing story. It's not every time people show their vulnerability. Not everyone, and sometimes on social media, you see all the gloss, you see how everything goes so well, but I'm going to say thank you so much for coming to the studio to share your story. So for those who are looking to invest, especially those in the Manchester area and stuff like that, so how can they find? Because you also do property management.
Yeah, I did.
As well.
Property management.
I think you have your estate agency.
Yeah.
So how can people find you?
So our company, they all know us in Manchester. We are very popular, especially with people of color. Our company name is called the EB Properties. So we collect, we help in collaborations where people bring money, little money together for them to either go into this auction, or we buy lands, we build, and so even people come together to buy investment property within themselves. So we are based in Manchester, or EB properties. If you are in Manchester, ask for the EB properties. We are situated at St. James House, Suffolk area in Manchester. So that is where we are cutting our show.
Man, Sunday, thank you so much, man. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Hey, leave your comments. What did you think about his story? Were you inspired? I know we all laughed, but that is a truth. That's what we call behind the scenes when it comes to property investment. So, like, subscribe, follow, press the bell icon so that when we release an episode like this, you are notified. Until next time, believe it's possible. Take care, guys.
So thank you very much.